By the Fire presents A Desperate Soul by Dave Smale. Read for you by the author. Chapter 11. Pastor Billy stared incredulously at the purple-haired young man seated across the desk. He didn't know whether to upbraid Jacob for disrespecting his grandmother's memory, or just tell him he believed his crazy story. Only then would Jacob leave. Jacob finished his story, looking at the pastor with anticipation. Billy scratched his head, took off his glasses, and rubbed his eyes. As a pastor, he'd heard some doozies over the years. Once a man had entered the church claiming to be John the Baptist. He offered to baptize people in the Lynnhaven River. He came complete with a phony camel-skin tunic and sandals from a Halloween store. Pastor Billy kindly told him his services weren't needed, but that he was more than welcome to stay for the service. He didn't. Another time, a woman came in asking for prayer for healing. Billy gladly obliged her. Immediately afterwards, she began singing and claiming she'd been healed. Then she claimed to be a prophetess and demanded the church pay all her overdue bills. When Billy didn't immediately agree, she walked outside and called down fire and brimstone on the church. Neither sparks nor burning sulfur fell from the sky, although a team of geese flew over and one dropped a green bomb which splattered just feet from her. The prophetess sped off in her Lexus and was never heard from again. There were a myriad of others, but Jacob's story took the cake. "So," he said, his New England accent poking through as he put his glasses back on, "you pretty sure you seen demons everywhere since Tilda passed away this morning?"
"Yeah, and I think I saw an angel," Jacob said.
"Oh, an angel. Just one?"
"Actually, two. Wait, let me back up. The first one I saw had a white robe and 6 wings, but it was flying really, really fast, like jet fast."
"6 wings," Billy said incredulously.
Jacob detected the pastor's disbelief. "Look, I know you don't believe me. I probably wouldn't believe me either. But, like..."
Pastor Billy waited a few beats for Jacob to finish. When it was obvious he had nothing else to say, Billy said, "Look, Jacob, to be honest with you, yes, it is hard for me to believe you. After all, it's been a few years since anyone I know has seen you. Now you show up. I can tell just by looking at you, you've been partying for quite some time."
"What? How would you know that?" Jacob demanded.
"Look, I'm going to be frank with you because I loved your grandmother and your parents. First, I can smell both cigarettes and alcohol on you."
"Huh? No way."
Billy sighed, shook his head. "I tell you, it never ceases to amaze me how people who smoke and drink don't realize just how bad they smell. I used to be a hippie, you know. You know that stuff comes out of your pores, don't you? Second, I can tell by how much skinnier you are than the last time I saw you. You almost look sickly. And your hands are shaking, a telltale sign of withdrawal." Jacob looked down at his hands. They were indeed trembling. But that could have been from nervousness, he decided. Why did this pastor insist it was withdrawal? He was taken aback at the way Pastor Billy was talking to him. This meeting wasn't going anything like he hoped. He thought the man would help him. Although, now that he thought about it, he wasn't quite sure what kind of help he was looking for. "I know it's been incredibly difficult for you since your parents died," Billy continued. "They were wonderful people, and I know that you were not giving your grandmother a very easy time. But you know something? She never complained, not even once."
"Then how do you know I was giving her a hard time?" Jacob asked indignantly.
"I'd often see her crying when she prayed. I asked her a few times about her concerns and if we could help. All she ever said was, "Please pray for my grandson." She never gave any specifics. But it was pretty easy to put two and two together. Jacob was beginning to sense that this meeting wasn't going to go anywhere. At least, not for his purposes.
All right, fine. I see where this is going. I'm a big loser. I get it, Jacob retorted.
Jacob, I haven't said that. Nor do I think that, Billy replied. But just think about it for a second. Put yourself in my situation. One of your best friends of almost 20 years disappears for weeks. You can't find her. Then her grandson, who you haven't seen in years, and who you can tell has been partying, shows up to tell you that not only is your friend dead, and you didn't even know she was sick, but he also claims he's been seeing demons all day long. Do you think you'd take what he was saying with a grain of salt?
What's that mean, grain of salt? Jacob asked.
It means that I'd like a bit more evidence before believing it. It sounds suspicious. Am I saying you're lying? Not at all. But if I'm to help you, it sure would be good to know that I can believe you.
I'm not really sure how I could prove that I'm seeing these things. It doesn't seem like anyone else can see them. I'm not even sure they're demons.
Well, from what you described, they sure sound like they could be. Do you see any right now?
No. Actually, I stopped seeing them about a block ago.
A block ago? What do you mean? Billy asked.
I haven't seen any for about a block away from this building. Probably because of what's on top.
What's on top?
Yeah. There's an angel. I guess it's an angel. That's the second one I saw. It was above this building. At first I thought there was just some weird guy that climbed one of your trees, but then its wings came out.
And it had 6? Billy asked.
No, that one had 2.
And then it flew away?
No, it just flew around in a circle and grabbed onto another tree, Jacob said.
I see. So it's up there now?
I guess, unless it left.
Billy looked tired. He stroked his temple and sighed. He didn't know what to make of Jacob or his story. He wanted to help him, and so he racked his brain for anything he could do. But he was coming up short. Okay, honestly, I'm at a loss for how I can help. And then a thought. But I've got some good news. Even though I can't help you, I think I know someone who can. Jacob's eyebrows raised.
Who?
He asked. Jesus. Jacob's eyebrows dropped. Oh, so you don't think he can? Billy said. Jacob's face twisted into something between disbelief and outright disgust. So you come to me looking for help. You're seeing demon spirits walking around tormenting people. When I suggest to you a spiritual answer, the Son of God nonetheless, you doubt? You don't think he can help? I'm only human, just like you. What did you think I'd be able to do? Pastor Billy had a point, but Jacob didn't like it.
I don't know. I guess I figured you'd be able to, tell me what those things are?
Let's say I were able to confirm to you that you are seeing demons and angels. Then what? Jacob stuttered and didn't give an answer. I see, Billy said. Okay, how about this? You let me pray for you. Then, tomorrow, let me know if anything has changed. Jacob shrugged. It was a fair offer. He doubted prayer could help or hurt anything. Pastor Billy bowed his head and launched directly into a prayer. It caught Jacob off guard. Jacob didn't close his eyes, but bowed his head slightly. Father, give Jacob wisdom and direction in life. Help him find the answers he's looking for. Most of all, let your will be done in him. In Jesus' name, amen. Jacob didn't feel any different. In fact, his thoughts told him the prayer was useless. Billy thanked Jacob for giving him the opportunity to pray for him. Both men arose and left the office. Pastor Billy smiled. He suddenly seemed a little more upbeat than he was moments ago, as if the prayer that had done nothing for Jacob had really affected him. They exited the building. Billy locked the front door and walked Jacob to the parking lot. "So is it up there now?" Billy asked. "The angel, I mean." Jacob turned to look but saw nothing. I don't see—" The mighty being appeared from behind the steeple, flapping its massive wings while staring at Jacob and Billy.
"Wait, there it is," Jacob said. "Behind that tower thing."
"The steeple?" Billy asked.
"Yeah, whatever it's called."
Billy sighed and shook his head, obviously still in disbelief. He offered Jacob a ride, which was declined. Billy gave Jacob his phone number in case he needed anything else. Then he shook his hand before turning to walk to his car. It was then that Jacob realized something.
"Oh, I just totally forgot something else had happened."
Pastor Billy turned back. What's that?"
"When my grandma was just about to die, I mean like right before."
"Uh-huh," Billy said.
"She put her hand on my face and said, 'Open—' Wait, no. It was like, 'Open his eyes,' or something like that."
Billy stared at Jacob for a long moment. "Was it 'Lord, open his eyes that he might see'?" Billy asked.
Yeah, that's it,"
Jacob replied. "Huh. Wow. That's kind of an important detail."
"Yeah, I know. Sorry, I just kind of forgot that part with all the excitement, you know?"
The pastor shook his head, not in disbelief, but in amazement. Tilda's last words were a prayer for her wayward grandson? His throat clenched. "Jacob, do you know why your grandma did that?" Billy asked, his inflection not hiding his wonder.
"No."
"That's a famous Bible story. Elisha the prophet prayed that very same thing for his servant." Jacob looked confused. "Check it out for yourself," Billy said. "Book of 2 Kings, right around chapter 6, if I remember right. Okay, I gotta get home and tell my wife about Tilda. Man, she's gonna be devastated. You sure you don't want that ride?" Jacob shook his head. "All right. Give me a call tomorrow," said Billy.
"One more question?"
Pastor Billy looked at his watch, trying to mask his impatience. "Sure," he said.
"What's with the weird body armor stuff? You always wear that?" "Hey, it's Jacob. I'm not a real rock star, but I might loosely be based on the author, who's also not a rock star. Hey, I just wanted to take a couple of minutes and tell you about Anchor. If you haven't heard about it, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First off, it's free. Also, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast, like right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast so it can be heard on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm right now to get started.
You've been listening to By the Fire. Hey, tell us what you think. Leave us a review on Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you download your podcasts. Or send me an email, info@davesmale.com. info@davesmale.com. Thank you so much for listening. This is a work of fiction. Names, characters, businesses, places, events, and incidents are either the products of the author's imagination or used in a fictitious manner. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental.